Hello, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Geraldine. This is the Afro Food Diary. Guys, how are you all doing? It's another yummy episode for me, for us. You're welcome back to my channel, okay? Today, guys, we'll be making plantain porridge, like unripe plantain porridge. It's going to be a really delicious one. But before we get into the business proper, let me just give a huge shout out to all Nigerian youths who are out there making honest living out of the little available to them. Guys, why I decided to bring this up is that these days when you look around, most of the news you get and watch is kind of promoting the ugly and everything that is not going right. Okay, yeah, that is not to say that things are the way they should be or that we have it all perfect, but the message is to also try to promote the positives that we see. You know, the little positive that we see here and there, we should also try to promote them as much as we try to correct the wrongs. Okay, guys? Yeah. So one perfect example of such Nigerians I'm talking about is Chimex. Chimex stays in Enugu. So if you're in Enugu and you're looking for where to buy your data, like you get it at affordable price, and someone to use a car to run errands, sort of kind of bring back, maybe you went to do groceries, you need someone to help you take them home, you know, that kind of small errands within Enugu town. Chimex is someone who is genuinely making a living out of that. You can always contact him. I'll leave his contact in my description box. Okay, guys? Yeah, so that is some of the positives I see that I think we should promote. Those of us that are out and making honest living, hustling, and using the little available to us, getting business ideas, and actually doing great things, even though they may look very small, we should learn to appreciate them. That said, guys, let's get into the kitchen and start. So guys, the major thing we need for this recipe is our unripe plantain, of course. Yeah, ignore the black stuff on the skin. You know, these days we wash our groceries like plates. Yeah, and hot water ran over it and kind of discolored it, but it's perfectly fresh inside, okay? Next, we have two red capsicums, small red capsicums, two fresh tomatoes, and that amount of onions. Yeah, and then over there I have some nicely grilled, nicely spiced and grilled mackerel. Okay, yeah. So the rest of the ingredients are just the spices and garnishing stuff, okay, which I will tell us about as we go on. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead now and peel the plantains, okay? While we're at it, guys, let's quickly talk about plantains, okay? So, one thing about life in general is that balance is always the best. So, finding a way to balance whatever you do, especially like eating your foods, the things you eat is always good. If, for example, you take only plantains alone, you are bound to have constipation. You are bound to constipate. But if you balance it out with your fruits and vegetables and lots of fluid, then you're going to avoid that, okay? Yeah. So why am I saying that? A lot of us complain of, that plantains make them constipate, and that is the single cause. Outside the fact that genes could also play roles, we'll stay away from the genes aspect because I'm not a doctor. But first things first is to make sure you have a balanced meal. Add lots of veggies, eat lots of fruits, and drink lots of fluids. Okay? Yeah. Go get yourself checked out if you need fiber or iron supplements in addition to balanced meal. Then that could be discussed. That you can discuss with your doctor. Okay? So getting into the cooking proper, after sauteing some onions, I went ahead to pour in the blended mix of peppers, tomatoes, and a little bit of onion as well. Okay, so we're gonna be cooking that down before we go ahead and spice. We're not using palm oil for this cooking. Yes, today we're going to be using just vegetable oil, and we still need it to pop, right? So that's the essence of the tomatoes and the peppers. So now that it has cooked down to this point, that's like after about 4 or 5 minutes, I'll go ahead now and spice it up. I'll be using chili pepper. I don't have a habanero pepper, but just use any pepper of your choice. So in here I have about 2 tablespoons. Black pepper, curry powder, paprika powder, mixed spices, seasoning cube. This is what it looks like. So I'll mix and combine everything together, like get the spices well mixed into the sauce. Yeah, that step is very important. Loosen up with some water. And then it's time to add our plantains. The water is just enough to cover the plantain. You know, it doesn't take time to cook. Test for salt. And then I'm just going to lay the fish on top of it and cover it to cook until it's done. One important thing I would like to mention about plantains is that they are very rich in iron. So that explains the reason why a lot of us, after they've taken plantains, kind of complains of constipation. Like it's difficult to do the number 2 after that, if you get what I mean. So that is one of the reasons, okay? But we wouldn't, because they do that, and avoid plantains. Plantains are really healthy. So that is why in this recipe I'm going to be showing you, like explaining how you can make your plantain porridges, things you can do whenever you take plantains to escape constipation. Okay guys, listen and watch till the end. So it's been boiling for 15 minutes, and now I'll just add about a spoon of leftover tomato stew. Yeah, it will just infuse some kind of flavor into it, but this is totally optional. So I'll gently mix it now. I wouldn't want this porridge to dry out. Your plantain is kind of full of iron, and if you leave it dry, it wouldn't be nice. We need that juice to get our digestive system moving. So this is exactly how I would want it to be. When it cools down, it's going to thicken up even more. So I'll go ahead now and throw in my spinach, which is like the last stage of this cooking process. At this point, I had turned down the cooker to like 2 out of 9. So I have fresh spinach, but I saved it in the freezer, so it's kind of frozen. I'll mix that in and add more if I need to. I think I would like to add more spinach to it, so I'll just cut a new one open and add a little bit more. Guys, if you want, you can cut up your spinach into smaller bits, but it's not a problem for me. So at this point our porridge is ready. I'll just mix it in and cover it, and just take it off the stove now, and then when it cools down I'll serve it. Okay, it tastes just perfect. With that, guys, I will say thank you so much for joining me today. I hope it was worth your while. I always ask you that. I hope it was worth your while. Thank you so much. If you watched up until this point, it means you really love to be here. I appreciate you. Okay, with that, I will say see you soon. Bye bye.